All right, this is going to be a video walking through my configuration of my 2025 Porsche 718 Spyder RS. I've wanted this car ever since I started to hear rumors that the GT4 RS might be followed by a Spyder version. And before that, I was really interested in getting a 718 Spyder with manual transmission. I had asked Mikhail, the general manager at Porsche Burlington, about an allocation after I bought Crystal's 992 GTS. And he had always wanted, this being after COVID, he had always wanted an additional dealer markup of I don't know, anything from 15 to 25,000. I was also on the fence about whether I would enjoy a 718 Spyder with its GT4 motor with only 420 horsepower or so, and would it be stimulating, relative to my GT3. So when the Spyder RS was announced with the GT3 engine, I really wanted it, so I texted Mikhail. I spoke to him multiple times, and he mentioned that it was a very hard to get car. So my text messages with Mikhail, I'm looking back. I asked about the Spyder RS multiple times. Let's see, going back to January 16th of 2024. Nothing yet on the Spyder RS, he responds. March 29th, I text him again. Are you expecting to get any allocations? Are you taking deposits? He said that he has seen one delivered so far, which was special allocation by Porsche to a VIP client. I'm sure more will come. I said, okay, please keep me in mind. I'm definitely willing to discuss paying an ADM. July 20th of 2024, I checked back in to see if he had heard any more about Spyder RS allocations. He said nothing at the moment. And then September 11th of 2024, he texted me, "Good morning, Andreas. Are you still on the market for Spyder RS?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he said that he has a changeable car, cannot do PTS, pretty sure December delivery, MSRP plus 20K, and it will go into production any day, has to be built fast. So I talked with him. I validated that I could change the configuration, and I told him that as long as I could change the configuration and it would be accepted, that I would take it. I tried to drop the ADM to 15,000. He wouldn't, because he said he had another buyer, but he'd like to keep it in state and give it to me, so I agreed to 20K. So what I'm going to walk through, you guys, is my very rapid configuration spec'ing of my Spyder RS. I'd like to do this because I think it would be cool for my kids in the future to see what my thought process was. This car will ultimately be theirs one day, and just like with the other Porsches and the Ferrari and the Cobra, and you can hear them playing in the background, so hopefully it's not too disturbing. So I had already configured a couple Spyder RSs, and my thought process ranged from doing a full build with all options that I could imagine, including Weissach and carbon ceramics, all the way down to what I would call a stripper build, stripped down, no Weissach, steel brakes, to something in between. I think that for me, the stripper build, a stripped down car, would be totally fine. Honestly, Weissach is mostly cosmetic on the Spyder RS, mostly just composite carbon pieces. The steel brakes are fantastic on both of the 992 GTS and the 991.2 GT3. They just generate brake dust. The only option that I would say is an absolute must for this car that I could not live without would be the lightweight carbon bucket seats. Ultimately, I figured, look, this is a once-in-a-lifetime car. I do think it'll be the last 718 Cayman/Boxster variant. It's a unique car with a GT3 engine. It might be the last, what I call analog, sports car that Porsche make. No digital dash, no weird emissions detuning. And so I figured and it's already a bargain at its retail price and even fully spec'd relative to the new GT3s or even the new 992 GTSs. So I'm going to go ahead and open the version that I ended up spec'ing, and we'll walk through it. So here's the car. You can see that I ended up selecting black as the color. I thought through this. For me, the Spyder, and in general the Boxster or the 718 platform, it's not as aggressive and masculine as the GT3 or the 911 platform. I love some of the bright colors like the yellow, the racing yellow. I love Miami blue. But I think that this car just looks more menacing in a dark color, and it looks a little bit more masculine. And I thought about vanadium gray, which I believe is a launch color for this car. I had seen a really cool spec in pictures of a GT Silver metallic car, and I thought the contrast of the black carbon with yellow trim looked really cool. And I thought I really love the GT Silver metallic on my GT3, so I thought it could be cool to build the collection of GT Silver metallic cars. So I thought quite hard about this. Yellow, and it is very cool, very bright. I don't think it's me. A bright yellow in a small convertible, maybe in a Ferrari or a McLaren. Gentian blue, I think, actually suits this car really well. If we change the background, I think it highlights the curves, and I think this color suits the Spyder RS more than it suits the 992. You can see I've got gold wheels selected. The GT Silver metallic car that I'd seen in pictures had black wheels with the yellow pinstripe, and I thought that looked pretty tough with all the yellow highlights. So this is pretty cool. I've always wanted gold wheels. I'm just drawn to it. Before I bought my GT3, I thought I was going to buy a brand new 718 GT4, and I was looking at different configurations with gold wheels, guards red, black. So I just have an affinity towards gold wheels, and I figure I can always change them back to black very easily, but you can't really go back to Porsche gold, especially these various specific colors like satin neodyme. PTS, the only PTS color that I think I'm interested in for this Spyder is a color that I've seen in pictures and it looks really cool, which is this NATO olive. I don't have an option for PTS. I looked into whether I could get colored PPF in this color, and it doesn't seem to be available. And then I looked at a colored PPF install, and I did not like the quality of the seams. So ultimately, I don't have an option anyway for PTS. So I went with just straight black. I think it looks really tough, really aggressive and masculine. It lets me do the gold wheels. I can always switch them back to black. I think that the contrast of the exposed carbon on the black looks awesome. It's really subtle. I looked at not doing the Weissach pack in the stripper version, which is a $12,000 option. So I can remove that. Which is fine. What really drew me to the Weissach pack are a bunch of details, which are the deletion of a bunch of matte plastic here on the door inlet, this really special intake that is only unique to the RS, Spyder RS, these hoops, the structural hoops behind the driver and passenger seat, the wing mirrors are in carbon, and I just figured, look, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to build a special car. I get the carbon hood. We can look at what comes with this. The exposed carbon fiber trunk lid, the side air intakes and combustion intakes, the mirrors, the gurney flap on the rear spoiler, a tiny little flap, the third brake light housing here on the back of the car, the safety bar covers. You get, the top comes with a logo, Weissach pack logo. I don't care that much about that. The titanium look tailpipes, I guess that's pretty cool. It's this detail here. Oh, and one thing that is very cool is on the interior, you get the entire upper dash in race text. I saw this in a GT4 RS at the dealership, and it looked awesome. And then, of course, the headrests embroidered with Weissach. That's fine. So not a lot of performance benefit. It's almost all aesthetic. But one thing I will say is I really dislike that Porsche does all these parts in carbon, and then a bunch of parts like the front splitter, these wings, the light covers still in plastic, the rear diffuser in plastic. So my plan, and I already did this, is to order all of these parts in carbon from DB Carbon, along with these door fender wheel well strakes here. So that's going to add quite a bit of cost. So anyway, getting back to it, this is the color that I selected. The top right now is selected with black gray accents. I don't know if it shows it. It doesn't show it actually in the configurator. I chose it with yellow accents, and I think there's an option later on to do this. I'm not going to spring for the $15,000 magnesium wheels. I think they're just way too much for the whatever the gain is in unsprung mass. I don't think they look that much cooler. 21 pounds. If you damage them, it'll just be a disaster. Again, I went for the satin neodyme $600 option. Gray stitching with the Weissach pack, although I changed this to yellow. I want yellow stitching, which won't show up in the configurator, but it should be an option that I selected. Full bucket seats, no question. Heated seats, I didn't even know I could do this. With the bucket seats, I did not select this. Maybe I should have, given that it's a convertible. It would be really nice to have heated seats in colder driving. I decided to skip this body form bucket seat. I don't know anything about this process, where they do it, if it's good, and it's quite a bit of money, $3,000. For me, the lightweight bucket seat is really comfortable, especially with a little bit of addition of lumbar padding under the seat cover. Weissach pack, again, I selected. And now let's go to exterior packages. I do want this yellow theme. So I want the yellow calipers that come with the ceramic brakes. I love the yellow stickers that Also replace the badging on the rear. I do want to get rid of all red on this car if possible. So this pull tab, I've already ordered a black replacement from Spyder cover in Germany with yellow stitching. I'm going to black out these reflectors and try to eliminate all the red from this car. Also, the interior of the Spyder RS, you have no option. You have the racing yellow center marker, which cannot be changed, and the yellow lettering on the shifter. So I figured let's stick with the yellow theme, and I selected these accent package logos. I should have chosen the window triangle trims in carbon fiber right here, as they're pretty cheap and it's just another piece of plastic that I could have replaced. However, I can get these, I missed this, and I can get these pretty cheap from DB Carbon and just replace those. I did do here the Spyder RS top with accents in deviated color. So that'll be yellow along the edges of the top. I thought that would be cool to match the interior deviated stitching in yellow. I really like this option. It's pretty pricey to just add back paint that I could have had without the Weissach pack, but I think it looks awesome to have this center section painted in black. And again, it's going to give that contrast between the carbon and the black. So that hurts $1,300, but I did it. As a zero cost option, I could have painted the full trunk lid back to black. So it's annoying that to add this partial stripe, I have to pay quite a bit of money. Door handles in gloss black? Nope, because the car's already black. All right, exterior decals. Windshield frame in matte black. No, I don't need that in matte. I don't want bespoke decals. I don't want to delete the model designation. I don't know, some people don't like having these stickers. I don't mind it. It's a Spyder RS, it's a special car. I don't want to delete the side logos. Again, I think these look really cool. And that is part of my whole yellow theme. And I'm not going to go gloss on the Porsche logo. I think it looks pretty tough being black there. All right, performance options. The 718 platform never allowed for a front axle lift previously, which was one of, it's kind of a little bit of a gripe with the 718 Spyder. I think it's a must on the GT cars. My GT3, I wouldn't be able to go into my parking garage without it, or up steep drives. Crystal's 992 GTS does not have it, but it's a taller car without as much front overhang, and she really doesn't really need it. But on this car, it's a must. It's expensive, but I checked it. Chrono package on this car doesn't add, I don't think, any launch control features. It's just the clock in the center of the dash, and provides the stopwatch function for lap timer. I'm so used to this clock now on my 991 GT3 that I want it, and it's only $300, so we selected that. I did choose the ceramic brakes. They're $8,000. I think this is a bargain compared to the cost if you wanted to retrofit these later. And on the Ferrari, the ceramic brakes are amazing in terms of producing no brake dust. So with these light colored wheels, I went for it. I also like the yellow calipers to go with the whole theme. Otherwise, I would pick a car color combo that left the red probably. I'm not going to paint them black. You can only get the PDK transmission in this car, no manual, but I'm at peace with that. I think that the PDK suits the RS cars, and they're just pure performance focus, and I'm excited to drive the GT3 powertrain with a PDK. So something I was really on the fence about is whether these LED headlight upgrade with PDLS was worth it. Crystal's car, the GTS, has it. I went back and checked my spec on the GT3. They did check it. I mean, they're good lights. I don't really notice. I think that the stock lights are fine. They look a little different. So they have this kind of 4-point design. It's just not something that I think I'm gonna notice or miss. These ones look cool too. They're the same headlight shape, the same lens shape. They're still really high quality. I skipped it. Maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. Auto dimming mirrors. I have this on the GT3 and I have no idea what it does. I still to this day don't even notice that it works or doesn't work. Rain sensor. I don't really drive the car in the rain that much. So I just skipped that. All right, that's all of the performance and general exterior options. So now on to interior. So this is where there's a lot of options, and I was pretty rushed. I only had a day to really review, submit this build, see if it got accepted. It got accepted, and then I went back with one of the sales guys, Joe, and I walked through this configurator to make sure I hadn't missed anything that he thought was important for this car. So this hurts to pay $3,200 just to change the color of the stitching, because you already get the option for either silver or red stitching with the YSAC pack. So I'm paying another $3,000 just to get yellow, but I just thought that for this car with the yellow theme, it just looks cool with the YSAC in yellow, all the stitching to match the center wheel marker and the gear lever stitching and the exterior. So maybe it's not worth it, I don't know, but I went with that. I'm not doing this leather conversion. The whole point of this car, I think, is to have the Race Tech, the Alcantara. And I'm not sure with standard color versus with standard interior or with leather interior. So what is this? This is a smooth finish leather. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Dashboard trim package in leather Race Techs. I'm not sure if this is redundant with, with YSAC. We already have Race Techs all over with YSAC. Anyway, these are a little bit confusing. I'm not getting any of these. Door trim package. I don't know exactly what this does. This changes the door trim to leather, and it looks like, I don't really understand this because I'm not sure. This looks like it's already leather up here. In any case, I skipped those. What I did go for, of course, is the color selection for the deviated stitching, and I went with racing yellow, which is the color of the yellow seat belts that are offered. It's a little bit confusing. Speed yellow is offered, but I wanted it to match the seat belt and the center marker, and I confirmed with Joe that that's racing yellow, and I think you see this here. Yes, the yellow selection for seat belts is racing yellow. I debated this leather casing for the steering column. I don't have this on the GT3. I don't really miss it. I haven't seen it, I guess, in person. Maybe if I'd seen it, then I would really want to get rid of that plastic and cover it in leather. I just haven't, and this is not a big deal to me. Personalized keys, I don't need that. Now these, I think I regret not going with the door sills in carbon fiber and illuminated. I think this is a cool touch. In hindsight, it would match the whole carbon fiber spec of the car, The illuminated door sills I think are pretty cool. I don't think they're too cheesy. I probably should have done this in hindsight. I thought about this. I've been thinking about replacing these door sills with leather in my GT3 because they're just kind of a cheapy matte plastic. So that's probably my biggest regret. Sun visors and race techs, people freak out about this and say it's a must-have option. I do have them on my GT3. The Crystals 992 doesn't have them. They're just the regular plastic. I don't get why people hate it. It's just regular smooth plastic. The worst thing about the sun visors is that they have this big yellow warning label on them, and I think that doesn't matter what material they're in, they're ugly. Floor mats, yes, that's a standard option. I don't know why you would uncheck that. The dashboard end trims in race techs, this has never bothered me. I don't look at this when the door's closed. You can't see it. I skipped that. Climate control panel painted. No, I just want it to be the normal, and this is all trimmed in carbon. In leather, no, I just want to keep it in race techs. I debated having the armrest lid with the Porsche crest here. I decided not to. This kind of gets a little bit matted because I put my elbow on it, and I find that I have to clean this quite a bit. And I think that having it embroidered would just make that harder to clean and look bad after a while. I'm going to skip all these owner's manuals. Here's the inner door sill guard in leather. I would go with the illuminated option in hindsight. Fuse box covers in leather. There's just a plastic box down in the footwell. You can barely see it. I don't want that. Inner door sill guards in leather with deviated stitching. No. Carbon fiber floor mats. I've heard these are terrible because they get really dirty and scratched up. Fire extinguisher, absolutely yes, for 140 bucks. Looks really cool. This is red, so I'm debating. There's a company that will paint these, so I'm debating. I'll check it out, see how it looks. If it's clashing with the interior, I'll have this swap to racing yellow. Colored instrument dials, no. Initially, I wanted these on my GT3. I'm so glad that it's just the standard gray. It's very legible. I now associate this with the 718 and the 991 platform. Crystal's 992 is a whole different tachometer setup. We did get it in guards red, but it's just a ring. I think this is way too busy when it's in white or red. And we can check it just to see. But in white, it's like too bright. And in red, it's just, well, red doesn't fit my finish anyway. And I just think the gray is perfect from a contrast perspective. Same with the colored chrono, leave it as is. Now, door pulls, I think every build I've seen selects, it's a no-cost option, selects the door pulls to match the seatbelt color, which would logically make sense. Guys, I don't like the door pulls very much in the RS cars. I think they're a little cheesy. I don't like the way they operate. And this is a piece that you're going to constantly be touching with your hands. And I think it will look really bad when it's grimy and dirty. So I went ahead and left it black. That way it kind of blends in. Visually, I don't like to see them anyway. And hopefully it won't get dirty this way. The seat belts I like, but the door pulls I don't. So that was my choice. So that's it for interior. The last part is technology. So cruise control, I talked to Joe. It's a no-cost option, so why not add it? I've used the cruise control a few times on the GT3 and the 992, sure. Interior comfort home link for sure. That's for the garage door opener. Porsche dash cam. I thought about this. Joe from the dealership said that this is kind of a joke, that you still need to do 5 hours of labor to install the dash cam, and it's just not worth it, so skip that. Light design package, my GT3 has this, and it's kind of a joke. It's just this tiny little glowing strip around this mirror housing, and This says area of door handles and driver and passenger footwell. I don't see this at all in my GT3. I don't know what it adds, so I did not elect for that. Now the smoking package is one option I wish my GT3 had, which effectively just provides a closed cover instead of an open bin here, and then a cigarette lighter, which is a power adapter that I can use in the center console. Really, I don't use that storage compartment. In this car, the key goes into the key holder and it just gathers dust. So I actually bought this aftermarket from from Suncoast, the OEM part, but still haven't installed it in the GT3, and I'd like to. It's a no-cost option. And then the luggage net in the passenger footwell, why not? It's very nondescript. It's right here. I don't use it, but why not add it? And then smartphone compartment. I debated this. I have it in the GT3. It's expensive. It's really just a little ledge for the phone to sit on instead of being a deep hole. It just makes it easier. It's expensive though for basically nothing. Voice control, I don't use it, but I added a zero cost option. The Bose I have in the GT3 and I really like it, so I added that. And then this is awesome. I wish I had done this. I was able to do this on the GT3, deletion of the Sirius antenna, which is a little blob that goes here. And it's awesome that you can delete this and they don't have to cut around it for PPF. So that is it. No delivery experience. And the summary, this came to $201,315, which I think really is still a bargain, even with the $20,000 ADM. That will be below the 2025 992.2 GT3 base price. And here are all the options for the build. Again, my only on-the-fence regrets, I think the real one is the illuminated carbon door sills, because those are pretty hard to install after the fact, and $500 I think is actually a bargain. And maybe the headlights. So that's it. And I will sign off.